After a boat accident, Jen washes up on an island, unconscious. When she wakes up, she finds her friend Brad, who unfortunately has a giant piece of coral sticking out of his stomach. Yikes! She yells for help, no answer of course, grabs a flare gun from his vest, and drags him away from the shore like a heroic, but untrained, paramedic. Thinking fast, she pulls out the coral, ouch, and covers the wound with some fabric. Brad's only response? Did you see it? Jen assumes he means a doctor, but nope, he just dies. She runs into the jungle to find water, smashes a coconut open like a caveman, and rushes back, only to find Brad is already clocked out for good. So, she explores the island instead. Turns out, she's stuck in a weird loop on the beach. In the jungle, she finds some old supplies. Medicine, soda, matches, sailcloth, and a bag of toys. Okay, weird. A spooky noise makes her investigate, but it's just a bird pulling a jump scare from a hollow tree. That night, she covers herself with a sailcloth and leaves some stuff out to collect rainwater. The next morning, surprise, the beach is covered in dead fish, and bonus, a shark with some terrifying gashes. Jen, now an expert survivalist, beheads the fish with rocks, totally normal behavior, and stores them in a cooler. She also finds a ruined notebook with a picture of a couple, which just makes her feel extra single. While exploring again, she finds graves. Inspired, she digs a hole for Brad, throws his rotting body in, covers it with leaves and sand, and marks it with a wooden B. R.I.P. buddy. That night, she finally starts a fire and cooks some fish. But the next morning, plot twist, Brad's body is gone, and the grave? Full of blood. So much for resting in peace. Jen realizes something spooky is out there, so she grabs a rock, sticks it on a branch, and boom, DIY spear. She also drags a log over so she can sit and keep watch. Of course, she immediately falls asleep and wakes up to a creepy noise. But since she can't see anything, she just blames it on the fire and goes back to sleep. The next morning, she spots some stuff floating nearby and swims out to grab it. While checking for more treasure, she finds a big, dark hole in the ocean floor. No, not today. She hurries back with her new loot and finds a suitcase full of clothes, perfect for a fashion upgrade. That night, she digs through the suitcase and finds photos of its very dead owners. Yikes! Before she can process that horror, she hears a plane, she sprints to the shore, fires a flare, and nothing. It lands in the water, lighting up something tall and terrifying. Jen, now officially in panic mode, grabs her spear and dives into the jungle to hide. The monster stomps around, but doesn't find her. Phew! The next morning, Jen finds her camp trashed. Even worse, she notices the monster was in the background of the old photos. Double yikes. Desperate to escape, she shoves life vests into the suitcase, hoping to use it as a raft. That plan sinks, literally. So she rage throws the suitcase onto the sand and hides in a tree to sleep. In the middle of the night, the monster comes back and starts rolling her log around like a toddler throwing a tantrum. Jen stays quiet and prays it doesn't turn into a piñata situation. After a while, the monster gets bored and leaves. Days pass. Jen becomes a pro at hiding and spearfishing. She even manages to take down a small shark. Score! She hangs it up and crashes for the night, only to wake up to the sound of the monster stealing her dinner. Rude. Then, because things weren't horrifying enough, the ocean delivers another surprise. A legless, severely messed up body. Jen takes one look and thinks, yep, time to leave. Jen hangs the bait on a tree and hides in her hole, staying awake to spy on the monster. It arrives, snacks on the bait, and wanders around sniffing for her. When a plane flies overhead, Jen gasps, finally, rescue. But nope, the monster is too close for her to come out. And by the time it leaves, the plane is long gone. The next day, she gets creative, turning a sailcloth and some ropes into a fancy tree hammock. Now she can chill above ground and avoid the monster. Great plan, until the monster decides hammocks are overrated and starts yanking it down. While the monster is yanking that tree, you yank on that like button and share it with your buddy. You know there's always that silly Willy who'll love this. Come on, don't lie to me. Alright, enough talk. Let's get back to the video. Jen flails, screams, and then bam, she falls. The chase is on. The monster jumps in and out of the water and then smacking her straight into the water. Just as she's about to become dinner, a thunderclap sends the monster running. Victory? Sort of. Now she has to sleep miserably in a tree while it rains. Morning brings good news. A life raft. Bad news. Her leg is a mess. She limps to the raft and finds Lucas, her boyfriend, and Mia, Brad's girlfriend. They're alive. Group hug, snacks, and story time. Jen tells them all about the monster, Brad's tragic fate, and why they need to leave ASAP. Lucas and Mia? Not buying it. They think she's gone full castaway crazy. While borrowing Lucas' Swiss knife, Jen notices blood on it. Suspicious. She presses them to leave, but instead of agreeing, Lucas yells at her. Rude. So, she takes matters into her own hands, literally. She sneaks off, loads the raft, and shoves it into the ocean. Freedom. Not so fast. Lucas and Mia catch her. Chaos ensues. Jen kicks Mia. Mia smacks Jen with an oar, and next thing Jen knows, boom, she wakes up tied to a tree. Not exactly the rescue she was hoping for. Lucas refuses to untie Jen, and Mia leaves to give them some alone time. Lucas starts complaining about Jen's attitude. Apparently, she ruined his fun boat day with his friends and even threatened to break up with him. Jen, tied up and so not in the mood, tells him this isn't the time for relationship drama. But Lucas keeps going, yelling about how she has no home, no money, and no life without him. Real charmer. As Jen insists on saving this for later, Lucas says she sounds a lot like his friend Zach, and then suspiciously doesn't explain what happened to Zach. Yikes. Meanwhile, Mia is chilling by the shore when she notices some weird fish bits floating around. Before she can process that, she has CREMS. Lucas rushes over with a torch, only to find the monster mid-snack, munching on Mia. He bravely whacks it with the torch, but the creature yeets him aside and jumps into the sea with Mia. By the time Jen finally wiggles out of the ropes, Mia is very dead, just blood in the water. The next morning, Lucas finally agrees they should leave. They catch a bunch of fish and cook them all using their last match, high stakes. Then, they pack up and set off in their tiny raft. Inside, Jen notices some suspicious bloodstains. Oh! Just as Lucas starts rowing, the creature shows up again, lurking beneath them. It suddenly attacks. Lucas dives into the raft, and Jen slams it shut. But the monster is determined and starts punching the raft like it's in a boxing match. Eventually, it breaks through, shoving its ugly head inside. Jen, in full panic mode, kicks it in the face. Lucas fires a flare gun, misses. Fires again, boom, directed to the mouth. The monster gets a flaming surprise dinner, and hopefully, Jen and Lucas finally get a break. Jen and Lucas manage to push the creepy sea monster back into the water, thinking they're safe. Big mistake. The creature reaches up through the raft, snatches Jen, and drags her under. While she's struggling, she remembers Lucas' dagger, convenient, and stabs the monster, making it let go. Just as she catches her breath, Lucas dramatically jumps in to save her, only for the monster to grab him instead and drag him into its underwater lair. Jen, now very done with this nonsense, swims back to shore, finds a tiny ember still burning, and gets the fire going again. She scribbles a "just in case I die" letter in a notebook, then preps for battle, making spears, digging holes, and oh hey, a skeleton. Might as well use those bones too. Night falls, and the monster comes sniffing around for fish. Jen traps it with fire, then goes full action hero, stabbing it, dodging, and getting smacked around like a ragdoll. But she doesn't quit. She keeps stabbing the creature with anything sharp she can grab, taking hits in return. The monster eventually pins her down, but she stabs it right in its previous wound, ouch, making it drop her. It swipes at her one last time, but is too weak to continue. Jen, seeing her chance, grabs more spears, watches the monster dramatically roar one last time, then collapse. Just to be extra sure it's dead, she stabs it repeatedly, then decapitates it with a chunk of its own shell. Victorious, but definitely bruised, Jen grabs the monster's head as a trophy and heads for the raft, while the jungle burns behind her like an epic movie ending. Get ready for the next video where celebrities turn into monsters. It's so wild, it'll scare the star right out of you. You won't believe your eyes, and trust me, you'll be laughing the whole time. Or hey, maybe the next one will just surprise you in ways you never saw coming.